So I do want to say thank you to Telsoc for letting us speak today. Just a bit of background though. So when Chris here came to me and said, Peter from Telsoc asked to do a presentation on the NBN, I sort of said, all right, well, what topics do you want to do? He goes, what do you mean? I said, well, there's lots of different angles we can talk about the NBN. So I sent Chris a bit of a list of things, and he sent it to Peter. But half an hour later, Chris comes into the room and goes, all good, John. I said, what do you mean, all good? He goes, you just said, yes, all of them, please. So that does mean we actually have a lot to get through today. So, look, probably my part to begin with, I really don't want it to come across negative, but I just want to set the scene around what we're having, what we're seeing in the market and some of the questions that are being asked, especially after some of the recent reports that have come out. And then we'd really like to then let that flow into what we think the solution for RSPs are, and then actually introduce iBots, which is our enablement system. Then finally we're going to do a demo and some QAs, and I've been told there's going to be a lot of engineers in the room. So usually I wouldn't open that up for questions. But as you'll see from most of this speech, I'm actually not really talking about the technology here. I actually think there's another piece that's been missed that's actually causing a lot of problems today. So this is the question everyone keeps asking at the moment. NBN, is there room for more than the big four? I take it everyone knows who I'm talking about with the big four. I hope everyone has the same emotion I have when I read this. It's disappointing, it's frustrating, it's actually downright annoying. NBN's mandate was about introducing competition, so why is this question relevant? And you'll see early on, I am actually going to talk about its relevance. Disappointingly so, but hopefully then we can transition that into a bit of a talk around how we can get through this. So one thing I didn't think I really needed to talk about was why it's really important to have a competitive wholesale market. I think you've all sort of been in the industry a long time and you understand that it sort of goes from the top down. Not many people talk about wholesale. It's sort of a hidden factor in it. Everyone knows about the retail competition, but wholesale competition is very important. I didn't really want to touch on that. I wanted to touch on one part, which is just because you've got 2, 3, 4, or 5 players doesn't mean in my eyes it's truly competitive. Right, so that may rubber stamp competition, it may help the regulator, it may help other aspects. But for me, a truly competitive wholesale market is when you actually have people who have a desire to sell. It's in their genetic makeup. If their actual main thing is retail, then they've got the incumbent approach, they're selling at you, they're trying to milk their cash cow, their other products. I don't think it actually helps you enable the RSPs to actually want to actually give competition out there in the market. So I know some people have challenged me on this because they say, well, it is competition. But, going to the first question, is there room for more than 4? I say, I hope it bloody well is. And if there's not, I'd be really disappointed. And simply that, we need it. So why is this becoming relevant? Well, did everyone see the stats that came out on NBN a few weeks back? Right, 93% is now gone to the big 4. Right, there is this 5%. No one else is even named. So the question is, the first question shouldn't be, is there room for more than the big 4? I think the underlying question at the moment is, why do we have a more skewed market share at the moment with NBN, that's original mandate was to promote competition, that actually is worse than reselling copper lines that we were doing 10, 15 years ago? So that's the landscape that we have today. Now, look, there's been a lot of other factors. There's been a lot of mergers and acquisitions today. Right? It has created this 2-tier market. We do have the 4 sort of giant RSPs. Now, I know everyone's probably asking where's Vodafone there, and who knows, maybe next year Vodafone will be there, including one of the 4. But I'm really talking about the fixed suppliers at the moment. So look, we have created this 2-tier market, and these guys are doing exactly what their shareholders want them to do. Right? They're trying to increase shareholder value, they're trying to get the best out of their assets, and they're fighting a massive war in the retail space. But I don't think that means we have to accept that. I still think there is room for more RSPs to come in. And what I want to talk to today is some of the challenges we see that we've had, that also other RSPs are going to have, and how we're trying to overcome that. Because we would really like to see some competition come in. Because if we're really going to push Australia forward, we need to enable the over-the-top players. We need to bring in these other brands and these other services that are coming in. All right, so the M&F group. Who are we? So hopefully some of you guys know who we are. I do believe we've got a unique view. We're not a startup, so we've been around a while and you're going to see that in a minute. But we do have that sort of mentality, that startup mentality, that challenger mentality at the heart of everything that we do, at the heart of all the innovation that we put through. And it really is at the cornerstone of our decisions. So if you go and research and look at My Net Phone, who are we? You will all see these sort of statistics. It's in our annual reports, it's in our investor presentations. And I could just go through all of these and walk you through them, but I thought I'd like to just give you guys 3 things that we don't say, that people don't know about us. Number 1 is I don't see us as a telco. We're a software company that invests in intellectual property and developing software that specialises in telco. And hopefully when you see the demo later, you'll understand a bit of a subtle difference there. We're all about investing in software to enable people. So we have a lot of software that we sell independently or we sell alongside with the actual aggregation services. So I don't see us as a telco, I see us as a software company. Now because of that, we've been able to go create this multi-brand approach. When everyone else was moving into bundling, we decided that actually with the power of the internet now, and we're looking forward 10 years, people want to go and find specialist providers. So what we were able to do, because we own and operate our own software, is create multiple brands. Now, yes, it's a headache when you're marketing, when you've got to understand your brand, you've got to understand when you're putting collateral out there. But we were able to do this quite cost effectively. And I think what that really shows us is when we're trying to understand an RSP, we get it. So we connect with Mine at Phone, which is a holistic, offers a national footprint in NBN and other services. Or we can actually act as little niche operators. And what we found is RSPs today are either fighting and following the NBN footprint, they're niches, they're looking at certain demographics and certain aspects. And we sort of see that because, hey, that's what we're doing. So when we generate wholesale products, we actually understand it from every side. Now, look, there is one benefit. With scale, with us being a wholesaler, we can try and lower the average cost. We've still got to get the cost down for people. And we also can give our voice in the industry. So we're on a lot of boards, we're on the Comms Alliance board and various other aspects to promote, I suppose, a voice in the industry, and that's what today is about. All right, so our view on the NBN. I want to just say one thing here, and I know my boss, our CEO, Renee Sugo, said this in the recent Comms Day. You can be critical of some of the decisions being made by the NBN and not be an NBN critic. Right? It's something we've been called a lot. Everyone's been sort of calling Mine at Phone their critics of the NBN. We're certainly not. This is actually the future of our country, and if decisions are done right and we stick to the original mandate, it has overwhelming power to increase us in the OECD rankings and improve everything for our population. So the next couple of slides are going to sound a bit critical, but I really want everyone to understand that the cornerstone of this is that we do support the NBN and we do support what was originally there. Now, we're no longer talking technology, so apologies to all the engineers. I'm not going to necessarily have the fibre to the node versus the fibre to the distribution point, the home, the basement point. The reason is that's not what is causing us to deliver a poor service at the moment to our end users. And I suppose here as an RSP, I'm saying that out loud, right? That's not what is actually causing the end user experience to be a problem in my eyes. It may be for the future, and look, I certainly had a view 2-3 years ago when we were trying to do this, but I think we need to get away from that debate. And I think the politicians at the moment are using a very simple debate because it is easy to explain to consumers and easy for them to actually go and vote on. And I think our challenge, and everyone in this room's challenge, is to start getting people to have the conversation and understand it's not necessarily copper versus fibre that's causing the problem. Even the 121 poise, so yes, we're having a bit of a cheeky dig here at Jason Clare. He said the other day, let's not even have this discussion anymore, guys. To one of our speeches, he said, the bus has already gone. So fair enough, there's been enough. I think the issue is all the people have gone and deployed fibre to those 121 poise. There'll be a bit of a backlash if all of a sudden NBN started providing aggregated backhaul. So I'm not even going to discuss that today. What I want to talk about is the CVC. And I want to explain the CVC model because I think it's going to show you what RSP's challenges are and how we can help them overcome that, and then add the enablement piece on top. So with the CVCs, just everyone's aware of that, it's a usage-based charge, right? In a world today which is now unlimited, we've got a usage-based charge still. And that charge makes up something like 80% of the forecasted revenue for NBN for the next 5 years. Our CEO, Renee Sugo, did a big slide on this, and if anyone wants more information, I can send you that pack with all the analysis on those figures. But it's actually scary that the charge that's causing the biggest problem to RSPs is actually the thing that's going to make up most of the revenue. So yes, we're pretty disappointed that that in the recent budget there wasn't a bit of a write-off of some of the NBN build cost, which we thought could have overcome this. Right. So what does that then mean though? So if NBN doesn't deliver the service it's meant to, we get these items now that we're deeming as NBN bypass. You've got mobility, you've got people building their own fibre into houses. What's that actually going to mean? Well, people are just going to use that service. And guess what? I may be moaning that the NBN mandate isn't being hit at the moment, but damn right I'm happy that it has a mandate. These other bypass services, they don't. There's no mandate at the moment that says, hey, you have to wholesale mobility, mobiles and other aspects. So the cynic in me say, are the people who have these bypass services happy that the NBN is going the way it is? Maybe, but I just think we need to actually address it now. And sort of like the ever-diminishing law of returns here that are you actually going to be able to sell a service? So why is the market like this? Well, we've had the politicians telling everyone they're going to get super fast broadband at affordable prices. We've had the Netflix effect come in. We've had content deliverers. Now, I don't know if you guys know, Netflix actually ranks the RSPs on how good they are at Netflix. So you've actually got a content provider telling the population, guys, you should have our service, right? You meant to have it. And you know, we're even going to tell you which provider is going to give you that service better. And we've got the market at this $50 to $60 side of things. So this is setting the consumer expectations. You go and do some maths on what that actually means. And I'm going to show you in a minute. I'm actually going to deep dive into some of those ones that we're going through, some of the mistakes we've made. It just simply can't be done at the moment with the CBC where it is. Right, so I also got asked before we go into, I suppose, how we're going to enable consumers, you know, can I give an honest answer about how my phone has done today? Pretty poorly. I'd have liked us to be on that original slide, right? I think someone once said that it's really easy to get 5% market share in any industry. I'm far from 5% market share. Why is that? Well, to put it in terms, everyone's aware that, you know, not everyone who gets 100 meg per second of service gets that at peak times. Not everyone's online at the same time, and you have this average peak user speed. 2 years ago, our average peak user speed was 240 kilobits per second. That was running basically on the back of a ULL service and ADSL1. It went up to about 300 to 325. Then Netflix came to the market. It's got up to 750. So I have tripled the cost in my CVC. And guess what? CVC is the thing that creates most of the cost now, not the port price. So what I did, I still treated it like any other way, right? If my product team is setting a price, well, guys, go tell me what your cost is. Put your margin on top. That's going to be our price in the market. We sold nothing. We went for 6 months, and the only NBN we sold was people who just happened to ring up either people who were relatives of people who worked. They said, yeah, go and put me on the NBN, paying a premium to the market. I made a big mistake there. So I had to go and take the market inputs that the big four were putting in and add more weight to that. And guess what? It was quite hard to my products team to tell them, guys, thanks for all the analysis. We've got to be at this price point, even if we're going to compete. We don't have to be a race to the bottom, but we've at least got to be in the market. And I think that's where a lot of RSPs are struggling at the moment. How do they get into the market and at least make themselves competitive so then they can actually sell some of their value services? But I do have some good news. I'm not all doom and gloom. Voice is still relevant. Everyone thinks that voice, you know, no one wants that phone number. Well, guess what? They do. Anyone who's had that phone number at home still wants to have it. They want to port that number. We found voice is still relevant. The main reason we're in business at the moment is because we offer them voice services as well, quality voice services with local number portability. People do want choice, although I've seen some pretty awesome tactics by the incumbents where they just migrate them onto NBN because they're already a customer, which is why there's a land grab going on at the moment. But people do want choice if you go and speak to them. And really, here's the biggest thing. They really value service and support. Locally based, especially in our case, so we run a locally based support system. People love that. But it doesn't necessarily have to be locally based. If it's automated, if it's quick, if it's efficient, and they can order their services, it still means a lot to people. They do want that choice. And the last thing I want to sort of say here is that in the recent report that came out, politicians, there's quite a few politicians out there saying consumers don't need 100 meg, consumers don't need 500 meg. Look at it, most consumers are taking 12, 1 and 25. Well, guess what? It's not the market dictating that, we're dictating that to the market. If you go onto our website, you go onto Telstra's website, we don't offer all the spectrums of speeds. We offer NBN, and then we offer some upgrades below the line. Because we know if all our customers come in at 100 meg at the moment, we won't be able to service them. They're going to have speed issues, they're going to have complaints, everything's going to come through. We are artificially constricting via marketing what people are taking. So, you know, I was just speaking before about all the exciting technologies coming, you know, with the virtual reality, home automation, all this sort of stuff. Don't be fooled when people show the stats of saying, well, look what are people actually ordering. When at the end of the day, if you go onto Telstra's website, our website, some other people's websites, you don't even see the other speeds. You just order your NBN, you've got to drill right down into your CIS summaries or other things to actually upgrade the speed. And we call it a speed boost. We don't even say you're boosting onto another tier or give a speed. We just say that because at the moment, if I try and push the 50 or the 100 meg services, my whole business case sort of doesn't stack up. So I think, as I started, I said, look, I'm not doom and gloom, right? I just wanted to sort of give you guys what actually happens, you know, in a real market, right? We have a retail brand, we have a wholesale brand. We have to see what's actually going on to help try and create a solution that's going to help RSPs compete. Because guess what? We need competition. If we just rest on the 4 big guys providing the NBN services, we're not going to get some of the really, you know, awesome innovation that's coming out from the rest of the world, some of the over-the-top services and some of the smart solutions. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass you over to Chris Foster, who every day he's working with RSPs. So he's our lead BDM selling this solution. So he's out there understanding the RSPs, and hopefully he'll give you a bit of an insight into what what the struggles and challenges they have, but actually, rather than me, he's going to provide you the solutions of how we think our iBoss enablement system can actually combat that. And then finally, as we said, we're going to then go on to Chris Hooker, who's actually going to take you through the system live. So we were thinking of doing a bit of a video, but we thought, why not actually do it live? He's going to show you a few bits and pieces, and if you've got other things you want to see, he'll take you through it, and then we'll take some questions and answers. So I appreciate everyone sort of listening to my babble here, and I know I've taken you guys on sort of a bit of a journey there, but let's blame Peter for that, because we put out 5 topics and he wanted all of them. But I hope that sort of gives you guys some context from a next generation wholesaler, I suppose, point of view, and one of those guys that's not quite in the 5% yet, who's trying to push that way. So Chris.
Good afternoon. So who is iBoss? So iBoss is a wholesale arm under Symbio Networks. And the whole pitch of iBoss is, do you want to become a telco without the need to run and own your own network, to be able to order multiple services via tier 1 carriers, to be able to do all your faults, ordering, billing, have one account manager, one relationship with one carrier, then iBoss is the perfect solution. So some of the services we have under the platform, we have NBN, we have business grade access, we have DSL, ADSL with Optus, APT and Telstra, and on the voice side we have Symbio endpoints, trunks, Vodafone on the mobile and Telstra rebuild. We also have a desire to sell. Now, traditionally with the big 4, they don't want to deal with the smaller guys. They impose ridiculous minimum spends or perceive that they just don't want to bring these guys on board. Under iBoss, that's just not the case. We welcome everybody. No matter how big or small you are, we want everybody to come on board and to grab a share of the telco market. Innovation. We also had this Toll Shield product, which pretty much describes where we are. We invented this product on site called Toll Shield, which we go out and sell to tier 1 carriers. But rather than selling it just to the carriers, we decided to put it on our SIP endpoints and SIP trunks, which then ensured that our customers didn't get hit by fraud as much. So it's a really good tool. We can also do the billing as well. It's a one-stop shop. It's a CRM capable. It does your white label billing. It will rate your calls. It will do SMS reminders. It's also a payment gateway. So it's pretty much just one stop for everything. So how to succeed as an RSP? So price. It's not a differentiator, but it should be ruled out. So you can't be the most expensive in the market, but it's proven that as long as you're not the most expensive, you can succeed. So how do you succeed? It's about the value proposition. So I spoke to one of my wholesalers and I asked him, how do you succeed in this market? Because it's very tough. So he said it's the service he provides. So he has about 100, 150 customers, and he said he knows them all by name. So when they call up, he gives that real nice, carefree, I love you kind of feel to the customer. Support, he doesn't wait for them to call up and say, there's a fault on the network. When you go into the portal, it tells you if there's outages. He calls up, he's proactive, he tells them what's wrong. Quality, he doesn't need to worry about quality because it's all via tier 1 networks. Symbio, Telstra, Optus, ABT, quality products, quality services. Add-ons, he can put out all-you-can-eat SIP services, SIP plans, and niche. It's about what he's concentrated on. What kind of market is he targeting? Is he targeting the ethnic market? Is he going to bundle international calls? Is he looking after business customers? Is he going to manage their IT? Is he going to manage their security? So the idea is to concentrate on what you're good at and target that particular market. So how iBoss enables success? Well, price. Certainty with all the prices included. So take MBN for example. There's no backhaul costs. There's no interconnect costs. There's just one point of interconnect. On the VoIP side, we have all-you-can-eat bundles. So each month that wholesaler knows what he's going to be charged, so there's certainty. So the value, so how does iBoss enable you to be different? So the service, it's all done via a portal, there's APIs readily available that talks to iBoss, so it's all very seamless. Support, again, because the portal is so easy, which Chris will demonstrate, you just go in and you do everything from your faults to your ordering. It's so smooth and so quick, which enables you to give more support to your own customers. Quality, as I mentioned, it's all via tier 1 networks, and if you take voice, it's over our Symbio carrier grade voice network, whereby if you do something like porting, it's something that we're really, really good at. We have about 6 members in a porting team, and all they do all day long is port numbers in and out. So it's something that we're really, really good at. So add-ons, you can take our billing, you can take the voice, you can take the data. It's entirely up to you. We don't say you have to take everything. You pick and choose what you want. You might already have a relationship where you've got your access, then just take us for the SIP stuff. Or you might already have your SIP, take us for the access. We don't say you have to take everything. We let you choose. And niche, so we specialise in local markets. There could be an area where NBN is just coming out. And that's what we recommend our customers to just go and target. We're also very lucky when we acquired the iBoss platform, we also acquired their staff. So they've had 8-10 years experience, they live and breathe iBoss. So they're always happy to share their knowledge with our customers. And finally, speed to market. We can have SIP trunks, SIP endpoints up and running within about 40 seconds, as we will show you the demonstration. I also had a customer who wanted to come on board. It was really, really urgent, and I got him up and running within a couple of days rather than 3 or 4 weeks. So I think the sell of this is we really want to empower our wholesalers. No one's too big, no one's too small. We want you to come on, we want everybody to get a share of the telco market, and iBoss is really there to help its customers. So I'd like to introduce you to Chris, who's going to run through a demonstration.
So, as we've already covered, the iBoss platform has been developed over the past 12 years, and it's something the M&F Group is quite proud to have amongst our portfolio of intellectual property, and it's been developed right here in Melbourne. And what we provide to our partners is basically a single place for the customers to order and manage services. So, some of you may be familiar with a lot of the other portals that are available from all the different carriers. Some of them have their own individual portals where you go and manage services, some of them have individual portals where you go lodge a fault, some other portals where you do different aspects of actually managing the service. One of the things that we give to our customers is a single portal where they can come in and they can see everything at a glance and manage everything about their customer. So today we talk about NBN specifically, but as Chris and John have already mentioned, we do provide a whole suite of services including ADSL, PSTN, mobile, business grade data, and of course VoIP, which is one of our key strengths as the M&F Group. And we do also have a billing system which is very tightly integrated. So this isn't just about ordering, although today that's what we're specifically focusing on. Now, when we log into this portal or as a wholesaler, they've got everything that they need at their fingertips right here, so they can see all the latest updates from us, they can see their invoices, they can go in and check all their service faults, check the performance of the carriers that we're dealing with to see is there an issue or is there a delay in managing and bringing new services on. So as we can see, there's some issues in Tasmania, there's a few delays with our particular carrier there. They can also go in and check the service faults. They can also check for outages. Thankfully today we don't have any outages, but as Chris mentioned before, one of the key things about making sure that our wholesalers have that, that full control of their end users and experience, they're able to come in and see are there any issues. We'll also notify those customers via SMS and email, so they've got complete visibility of what's going on with their services. As it comes to NBN ordering, so we have a service qualification tool. I'm just going to enter in an address here and see if we can get an NBN service. I might make that a little bit bigger in case you can't see it. Okay. So this process itself takes about a minute. And what it's doing is it's actually checking 4 carrier systems, including Telstra, AAPT, Optus, and our NBN SQ database. And one of the things that this does is it actually allows our wholesale customer, when they're servicing an end user, to be able to see what services are available at their premises. Maybe they can't get NBN today, maybe they can get ADSL. And it just basically gives them that choice. So if there is multiple services, they can then choose based on the carrier that they prefer. They might prefer to use Optus for some reason. There might be specific pricing tiers that we've set, because all of our products have different pricing tiers. So that gives them that full choice going into their relationship with their customer. As we can see here, the NBN is available in this area, and we can place an order. Now, the form that we're about to fill in is very consistent throughout our whole system. We like to try and keep things as simple as possible. So you notice this is only one page. We don't have to follow 15 wizards and throw heaps of different inputs into the system. And it can be really done by, I wouldn't say a novice user, but we're allowing our wholesale customers to have a team of staff who can cross different skill sets, voice, data, and so forth. You don't need to have a provisioning specialist who only knows voice, who can't do ADSL or NBN, because this is quite easy to fill out. And we've got a plan filter. So what we have here is basically an area where you can select your speed tier. Now, we've only chosen 12, 25 and 100 for our fibre to the home networks. For myself personally, I find 25 megabits is more than ample. I spent the last week at home with my kids and we were watching Netflix all week on an ADSL connection. I probably would go for the unlimited because I watched Toy Story about 100 times. But yeah, we've got different options. So customers might want to pick a lower quota because they only use a little bit of data, or we've got those unlimited options available as well. And we basically have different contract durations which dictate the actual cost of the contract setup fee. From there, it's basically a simple process of entering the customer's username and password that we want to use to authenticate onto the network. Because we manage the whole national network, we manage all the infrastructure. They don't need to worry about setting up a radius, routers, switches, other relationships with our carriers. It's all encompassed on our network. So their user is effectively logging onto our network, but it will be within their brand. So it'll be at yourname.com.au when they log in, and to the end user, they don't really know that they're on the Symbio network. We then fill in the remainder of the customer's details, site contact for when the NBN technician's coming out and give them a call. And that then goes off into the NBN system, and our team will monitor that and manage that, and basically all updates will be sent back to our wholesale customer about the status of their order, if a technician is going on site, when the appointment is due, and so forth, and finally when the customer becomes activated. We also have a notifications mobile number, which notifies the customer when their service is active. It notifies them of events of things like they've consumed 80% of their usage, 100% of their usage, so they know that they're actually burning through their data. They don't call up support and say, why is my internet slow? We basically tell them before that happens. So I won't submit this order because I don't want to activate a service in West End, Queensland, but that just shows you how quick and easy it is to activate a service. It's basically, you could really do this in under a minute if you wanted to. The next thing I'd like to show you is basically the hardware ordering aspect as well. So not only do we enable our partners to be able to activate a service and they don't have to get relationships with all these different carriers, but they also don't need to go out and procure hardware. So in the next 12 months, we're going to see a big shift into the multi-technology mix on the NBN, and a lot of customers are now going to be requiring new hardware, which is great if you're a hardware manufacturer because you're going to be making a lot of money in the next 12 months. But that aside, we just basically allow our customers the convenience of coming into our portal and basically buying an equipment for their end user, which will then pre-configure the service for that customer, which will then take the customer's details, and we'll have that pre-configured. Now, if we had this order in by 11 o'clock today, it would actually be on the customer's doorstep tomorrow morning. So it really enhances that customer experience and just helps deliver some satisfaction to the end user, as well as our wholesale partner. So you basically just put all of your customers' details in here. We'd ship it out the next day. So moving along from, I suppose, the NBN data aspect, we have been talking a little bit about the portal, but we also have APIs available. So whilst we've got the billing system, we have a lot of APIs. So our wholesale customers can bring their own CRMs, front ends, billing systems. They don't necessarily need to use the portal. There will be some aspects of using the portal, but they can have a front end website that will go and place these orders on their behalf without any interaction with the portal at all. Now, before we move on to the next piece that I was going to discuss, We've talked about a lot of investment in our intellectual property and a lot of innovation. I suppose as well as the automation of our system. And there was an interesting article in Comms Day earlier this month from Andy Penn, who basically said Telstra has improved their mobile provisioning for their retail brand sevenfold, and they've got it down, sixfold, and they've got the provisioning process down to about 7 minutes. So as you may be aware, we actually enable one of Telstra Wholesale's largest partners. So I thought I'll give our system a test and see how quickly we go. And I was quite happy to see that we did it in about 1 minute and 5 seconds. So Telstra has a little bit of way to go to improve that, but I just thought I'd talk to the efficiency of our system. Now, in terms of the conversation today being around NBN, yes, it is a data network, but there's also a voice component to the system as well. So Symbio is one of the largest, is the largest VoIP network in the country. And as John said, when a customer cuts off their copper and moves to fibre, or they move to VDSL or whatever, they want to keep their phone number in a lot of cases. Businesses and home users want to keep their phone number. So we have this provisioning service within our system, so you can add a SIP endpoint. Now that's basically just a single phone line for a residential customer in most cases. It could be a business. I just want to show you how quick and easy it is to activate a service. So this is a new number, but effectively the process is virtually identical for porting, except it needs to add the relevant authorization details. So we can select a number from our available numbers in Ballarat. We can select a plan, and then we basically fill in our customer's details, and that's it. And then within 30 seconds, that'll be an active number that's ready to use right away. So that's really, really quick. And we surprised ourselves when we did the development of this 12 months ago to integrate the system, just how fast we could actually get one of these services up and running. We also do SIP trunks, which is more geared towards businesses that have multiple lines, anywhere from 5 to 100. So I'll just show you the one of our existing services in here. So within this portal, I can view all my usage. I can see how many channels I've got. I might have a customer who only has 10 lines, but they're, for whatever reason, expecting a lot of calls in the next month. Maybe they're a business in Queensland and they've suddenly got a massive demand on supply for whatever reason. They can increase their channel count. If they add more staff, they can quickly increase their capacity. That update will be completed within about 30 to 40 seconds. And they may also want to add new numbers. So I'm just going to add a new number now, which can be ported as well. I can pick anywhere from 1 to 100. Select my number zone. Let's go for Ballarat again. And that number will be completed within about 30 seconds or so. So it's really, really easy for our customers. Some of our customers have traditionally dealt with providers where they raise a request like this. It can take days, sometimes weeks. So we really focus on the efficiency, putting the power back in our end users' hands. One other thing I just want to quickly touch on as well, putting the power in the end users' plans. So when we're looking at managing broadband services, and in the case of Chris, where he's got a customer who's very focused on his end users, making sure that they are completely satisfied with their experience, our wholesale customers don't need to call us if there's a problem. Sometimes if you've got a problem, you need to call up your carrier to see certain things, to be able to manage the service, escalate faults and so forth. So we can see right now that this service is online, which is great. If they weren't online, we'd be able to say, okay, well, there's going to be a fault. We can disconnect their session. Maybe there's some sort of ghost session in the network. Very uncommon, but it does happen. If this customer was shaped because they had a 500 gig plan, they've been watching too much Netflix, Toy Story like last week, then we'd be able to come in here and we'd be able to unshape that customer. We can also view their usage and so forth. We can also change plans, so they might want to increase their plan and so forth. So it really puts that full power back into the end user's hands, which is just fantastic experience for our customers, in our opinion. So look, that's probably all from our perspective, or from my perspective of the demo. I'm happy to show people later if they've got any questions or anything like that, but it really comes down to, again, just our internal teams building these systems to make sure that we have the best possible automated solution for our